Hello and welcome to the Hero Coaching Podcast with me, your host Mark Corner, empowering you to be the best possible version of yourself. Hello and a warm welcome to the Hero Coaching Podcast. I hope you're having a great day, and I'd just like to say, to start off this first podcast of mine, happy beautiful day. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat there, but we put in all the glitches, we don't edit them, so it's just me, this microphone, and what I've got to say to you. And today's topic is all about gratitude. Why gratitude? Well, I think something is missing in this world of ours these days. We're too, how can you put it? There's a lot of materialism going around. We're very materialistic. We've got to have things. We've got to buy things. If we haven't got this or we haven't got that, then it makes us feel left out. So, in essence, all we're doing is looking for something outside of ourselves to make ourselves feel happier, rather than just having some kind of reflection upon what's going on in our lives. And this is something that I've been practicing for a long time now. I don't know about you, but I tend to journal every day now. I don't write it down necessarily the old-fashioned way in a book like some people do. But, I mean, if that's the way that you do your journaling, that's perfectly okay. Me, myself, I tend to use an app day one. But there again, that's all to do with personal preference. And that in itself is another topic. We're talking about gratitude today. Sorry, I digress. Anyway, so why is gratitude important? Well, if you think about, there's a lot of unhappy people in the world today, and we always, the brain has a negativity bias, so if things aren't going the way we want to, or there's a problem, or something like that, we tend to focus on things that are going wrong in our life. So sometimes, if this goes on for a prolonged period of time, we start ruminating and thinking about all the things that are wrong in our life, etc., etc. And we end up in a bit of a downward spiral, don't you think? Sometimes that happens. But what sometimes we don't tend to, and then we wonder why we're feeling the way we are. But that's just one of those things. What tends to happen is we don't always think about the simple things in life, like, I don't know, nature. I mean, isn't nature a wonderful thing? I mean, personally, one of the things I like to do in the summer is sit out in the garden. We've got a bench at the back of our house up against a window, and the view that you get, it doesn't cost a penny. I mean, isn't that something to be grateful for? Or we've got lavender in our garden. We planted it last year and it's come out this year. And the smell, oh dear me, when the wind catches the actual flowers themselves and blows the essence, the smell of the lavender, oh, it's lovely. I mean, there's just so many things that you can be grateful for. Things like I like seeing bees buzzing around in our garden and butterflies, and just in spring, especially in spring when it starts to get warmer. Say like between the between March onwards and April, when things start to come to life and you get your daffodils coming out and in your garden, and the garden starts to come alive. Things start to move around and so on and so forth. But one of the great things about gratitude is if you practice it long enough, it actually rewires your nervous system, and this affects a lot of things. You not only feel better in your mind, but in your body as well. So that's one of the reasons. I mean, what I tend to do in my journal is, I used to have a section where I put gratitude and I put 3 things in, but now I'm using a slightly different way of doing it. It's to do with a life coaching program that I've been doing, and in there now I've got I think the heading says something like things I'm grateful for. So when you first start doing this, it can be quite difficult actually to think of things. You think, well, what am I grateful for? But there's just so many things. I used to struggle with this. I really did, because it wasn't something that I used to do at all. In fact, what I used to do was just think about, my life's not that good, and things are going wrong, and oh dear, woe is me, and so on and so on. How you do. But now, sometimes I do struggle a little bit. I just find it so. It just makes me feel good when I do it, and there actually has been studies to. There is actual science behind gratitude. I think I was reading an article this morning on the internet, and it was saying that I think they had a study. They did a study with some groups of people, and the ones that practiced gratitude over time were a lot less depressed and suffered less anxiety. And it's just such a simple thing to do. I mean, you can just look anywhere on the internet. I don't know, put something like gratitude into Google and just go to images, and you'll probably see quotes about gratitude. From my way of thinking now, you can be life isn't always a bed of roses. It's not always easy. It can be hard. But there's nothing to stop any of us, practicing a bit of gratitude. It's not going to hurt you, is it? I mean, really, think about it. It's not going to hurt you. I mean, what's the worst that can happen from practicing gratitude? I mean, nothing at all. It'll just make you feel better. So, I suppose, I don't say that this is a particular ritual for me. It's just something that I'm fascinated with, and how it affects, just by doing something so simple, and it doesn't cost anything. This is the thing. It doesn't cost anything at all. It's just a little bit of time each day, when you put it in your journal, or just look around you. Gratitude is everywhere. I mean, one thing I can think of straight away is I'm grateful for food, having food. I mean, some people have got no food. There is always something to be grateful for. Well, I think so anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. This is my first one, so any feedback would be really interesting. I'm not sure what the next topic's going to be, but I can think of. I'll have to write some down, so I've got some ideas. So until next time, this is Mark signing off from Hero Coaching, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast about gratitude. See you again sometime soon. Bye now, take care, and have a happy, beautiful day.